Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
I would recommend Angel Care to anybody. They have really helped me regain my strength.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible. Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
I couldn't have survived this without Angels Care.
Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching, and thanks as always to our producer, Jeff Durall. We're at Malloy Hall, second floor, in the offices of the Director of Orchestras at Fort Hays State University. We'd like to have you meet the new Director of the Orchestras and the Hays Symphony. And let's see how we do with the Russian pronunciation here. Shokhrukh.
Shokhrukh, yes.
Shokhrukh.
Yes.
That's first name. Sadikov.
Sadikov, right.
Thank you for visiting with us.
Thank you for visiting us.
First of all, the name Shokhrukh has a very interesting background in Russian. Tell me about that.
It is, in fact, Old Persian name, and it's been used by many noble families and kings or king families. And in fact, the root of the words are, first half is Shah, which means king, and another half is Ruh, which means spirit. My last name means something too.
Tell me about the last name then.
Sadik is also Old Arabic, or in Hebrew too, Siddiq, which means loyal. So this is our family tradition of giving certain kind of names.
So the last name means loyal.
Loyal.
First name would be then king and
Spirit.
Spirit.
Yes.
That's quite a bar that parents have set with the name, isn't
I
it?
guess.
But a common name, right?
Shokhrukh is becoming a common name now, but at the time when I was born, it wasn't that common. Apparently, my parents couldn't decide what name to give me for 3 days, and my mom was impatient. It's like, when is the name coming? So.
That's an interesting background. Well, welcome to the United States. Your nickname has become Shaw, I guess, around Malloy Hall. Is that right?
Yeah, over the past few years living here, everybody had a hard time of remembering or saying my name, so I said just use the first half of my name, which is Shah.
Well, many of us in this country have problems with basic English, so Shaw certainly translates much easier for the rest of us. Tell me about your background then, from a musical family, huh?
I am from a musical family, yes. My father just retired, in fact, was a music director of the academic national instruments of orchestra back in Uzbekistan over 30 years. And my mother is a music teacher as well, and she's head of the Department of National Instruments in Lyceum of Applied and Musical Arts.
You have been literally exposed to music all of your life.
All of my life, yes.
And from Uzbekistan, tell us a little bit about the country now.
Uzbekistan is, it was known and it is still known as sunny and what we call it bread country, because we produce wheat and cotton. That's the biggest production we give to the world, you know. And I guess we're number 3 or number 4 in production of cotton and how you call it? Exporting.
Exporting,
yes.
Very similar to the United States then. Wheat production in Kansas and cotton production in some parts of Kansas and
exactly.
in South,
so I
Southern
haven't gone
United
far.
States.
Yes,
you didn't come far then.
Yeah, I didn't come far. Yes, exactly.
How? What are we talking about population-wise, Shaw?
Population is about 30 million. In fact, it's the biggest populated country in Central Asia. the land itself is not as big as Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is bigger than us, twice bigger, I guess. But their population is only 18 million or something like this.
Now, is it a separate state or is it a part of Russia?
No, it was part of Soviet Union, in fact. And in 1991, we got our independence from Soviet Union, when Soviet Union, in fact, collapsed. And since then, we're an independent country, democratic country, and we've been working towards our independence and economic growth, and always arts and everything.
And with the democracy comes the opportunity for exporting, for crop production, for farming, for arts in many forms.
Of course, of course. It gives a lot of freedom. If before, when it was Soviet Union, if you need to go to study abroad or export something, it has always been through Moscow, their permission. And nowadays, we're independent, so we can leave anytime we want, and then we can travel, study, export, do business and everything.
How big would be, you mentioned your father is conductor, or recently retired conductor of the National Academic Orchestra. About how many players would have been in the orchestra?
60 to 70, normal size orchestra.
Okay. Kind of mimicking the Hayes Symphony in a way, right?
That's right. We are trying to grow and get the normal size orchestra.
So you studied music then, obviously, viola and violin, huh?
Yes, I started out as a violinist at the age of almost 7, I think. Yeah, I wasn't 7 yet. And till my high school years, I was a violinist, and it happened to be there was a national youth competition which gave full right to study in college. And I really want to win that. You had to win it, and I had too many good violinist competitors in my level at that time. So I decided, I went to my teacher, in fact, and said, Mr. Haydarna, what do you think? I really need to win this competition. I want to go to college on my own, without anybody's help. And she said, well, if you can pick up viola in a year, maybe you will be able to win, and then we will see. So in fact, that happened. I switched to viola in my 9th grade, I think, and then that end of that year, I won the competition. I went to National Conservatory of Uzbekistan, State Conservatory of Uzbekistan.
With a completely different instrument. In 1 year's time,
1 year
you won a national competition for a scholarship to college.
Yes.
That's an incredible talent, Shaw.
No, it's a combination of everything, of course. I had a good
dedication and endurance.
Endurance, right? Yes. Hard work, good teacher, good leader, nurturing, everything came together. So it was, I happened to be in the right place in the right time, as many people say it that way.
Yes, and modesty showing through too, I think, with Shaw from his talents for sure. Did you choose violin, or was that a parental choice, as sometimes happens?
That's a good question. In fact, it was a parental choice. It was my father's choice. He was fascinated by famous Italian violinist Paganini, and then at that time in Soviet Union, Orchestras and Kogan were the world famous violinists, and I guess that's what prompted him to give me to go to study for violin, and I did on and off, slacking sometimes, practicing sometimes not, but
a typical student then, perhaps.
Yes. Eventually I fell in love with music. Till I fell in love, it was a hard time, But thanks to my father, who was, steadfast, you have talents for it, you have to practice, and you can, with so much encouragement, he took me till the years when in early teenagers I just fell in love myself. So then he didn't have to say anything.
Well, there's a good point to be made there, Shaw, I think, for parents who might be struggling at this moment with students who are musically inclined or have an interest in music, that stick with it, demand the work that needs to be done.
Indeed.
And who knows, maybe the spark will ignite at some point.
Indeed. That's what I say. I teach, I have younger students too, and then I always say it is not easy to play the instrument, yet it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding, and if sticking to it for several years till it gets easier is important. Many people quit very early on. They try and, oh, it's too difficult. No, let's work together. It's possible. That's how I nurture my students too, and their parents all together.
What brought you to the United States?
That was a great opportunity. I've always dreamed of going to Germany, and I was at that time studying Goethe School in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and planning to go to Germany because many of friends of mine went to Germany. And my close friends, two close friends, one is a famous pianist now, and another one is a great cellist, went to United States, to Kansas City to study at International Center for Music at Park University in Kansas City. And then they took with them my recordings. So in a year, I get a call from a friend, they're interested to invite you, and then I had an interview with my former teacher, now is a great friend of mine, Professor Bensayevich, and then how I ended up being here, they gave me full scholarship, they gave me full new life.
You got the call.
I got the call, yes. I had to take the opportunity, and then it was the right decision, I guess.
You made an interesting point, I think, that is something about music, and that's the association of the teacher and the student, a professor, as you say, that you referenced, who has become a longtime friend through music.
Yes, it is. In our case, it's not like a professor has over 100 students and you work in a distance. Here in music, we work one-to-one, and then there is some kind of magic or bond happens that not only you learn how to play the violin or viola, or it doesn't matter, but life, how to live a life, how to be a moral person. The teacher becomes friend, and teacher becomes teacher in a bigger sense, in a life teacher, who leads you to your life. That's how we became friends, I want to say.
State School of Music, State Conservatory, scholarship at Park University in Kansas City, then the University of Kansas. When you arrived in this country, however, two phrases of English, I believe, was your expertise?
That's right. I didn't speak English, so I basically speak English for 7.5 years now. And when I came, I knew only 2 words, I love you and thank you.
Not thank you, but thank you.
Not thank you, but thank you, yes, exactly. Thanks God, now I learned something more.
Oh, absolutely. And becoming very fluent. Please, let's don't switch places and me trying to have to pick up Russian, believe me. You have done computer programming classes. You're now working on a mobile app to aid in practicing. Tell us about that.
I did some computer science, and then at some point I have big interest in technology. I'm very fascinated by how the world is changing so quickly with technology, and I've always from childhood had an interest in technology, but had never opportunity to do it because I'm always busy with music, and I come from a musical background. But here I found several friends who were a big inspiration for me. They are computer programmers. A couple of them work for Cerner Corporation, a few work for Microsoft and so on. And they became close here, and we start talking about many things, how to incorporate music with technology. And I start taking some programming classes. Since music is very logical, the logical part of programming was easier. But when it came to pure math, that was the hard part, so I had to at some point stop because I don't have math background. But my fascination never stopped, so we, with my friends, start talking about developing an app, and we are working on it. This app is for all ages, even for the professional level as well. That purely puts you into such an environment where you're 100% focused on everything you're doing. And it will take a few years to develop it, to finish the idea, but we're intensively working on it. And it will be especially helpful at the beginning of career for any student who wants to study music. You know, I remembered how my father tried to encourage me to do, and then, you know, tell me do this and this. So this app will be helping with that, in fact.
Shokhrukh Sadikov, Director of Orchestras at Fort Hays State University, has some big plans for the Hays Symphony. We'll find out about that in our next Community Connection.
Angels Care Home Health, serving Hays and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
There's not any words to describe their kindness.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible. Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
They saved my life.